week's latest and sometimes not so greatest news in our industry. Unlike our other format, Clothing Culture Podcast, which gives you long format conversations. In fact, our drop that's releasing next week is with Hillary Jochmans. She's the founder of Politically in Fashion. We discuss the importance of advocacy in our industry in
Boy,
DC.
is that an important topic today.
Wow,
Yeah.
for sure. And with that, it's a perfect transition to talk about one of the big conversations in DC right now, which is the tariff.
We've tried to avoid this word.
With a T word.
And yet it keeps coming back, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we're going to talk about tariffs to lead off the episode.
That's
the battle's
right.
begun, basically.
Yes.
We, the Supreme Court ruled that the IEEPA tariffs were illegal. And everyone wants their money,
Of
right?
course.
That's basically it in a nutshell. There's over $100 billion in refunds at stake. Numerous companies have filed lawsuits.
2,000 plus at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
At this stage, it's pretty early in the game. We don't know what the outcome is. The government, I don't think, has sorted it out. There has been some, for those of you that are looking for importers that are looking for refunds, some of the current guidance is make sure that you are on the ACE program platform, that you have set all of that up. There's more news to come. If those refunds are occurring, at least the current guidance or information we have is that if you are set up in the ACE program and all prepared, any of those tariffs that you've paid out should be coming back as this rolls through. But boy, this is a complicated platform because it's not ending there. Consumers are saying, hey, we've paid more of those tariffs too, right?
So
with increased costs. And so certain consumers are pushing back. There's class action lawsuits saying, hey, if the
brands
organization,
are getting money back,
we want
our money back.
So what a complicated landscape that is. There's potential legal risks for brands, very unclear outcome. The government doesn't know how it's going to figure that out. So stay tuned. It's still pretty murky, and there is no guarantee that refunds are indeed going to happen at this stage. So.
Right. So we'll see. We'll keep you apprised, of course. Moving to kind of a fun
Let's cleanse our palate from tariffs.
So it's so cute. We've been talking a lot about the bridal infusion in our industry lately. One, because it's trending. Two, because it's fun. And so I was really excited to see what Zendaya is doing with method dressing. She is in the process of working on a new film called The Drama, which tells the story of a couple's relationship kind of unraveling right before the wedding. And she is using method dressing to showcase this character and feeling character. So that's just a fun concept in itself. But what has rolled out on the red carpets as a result has been fascinating.
Well, I think you kind of picked this out. We were watching the Oscars and you're like, look at all of the white. Look at all of the kind of wedding bridal looks that were going on. And sure enough, this kind of reinforces your perception.
My observation.
Your
observation.
Yeah.
So she has taken various moments on the red carpet to showcase something old, something borrowed, something new, something blue. And in something old, she wore a vintage Vivienne Westwood gown, that's big time respect. Something new was a custom Louis Vuitton. Something borrowed, Armani Privé, that was previously worn by Kate Blanchett.
She's still looking for that, by the way. I wonder if she's going to give it back.
I don't know. And then something blue, a Flora McQueen. So, I mean, I really love this kind of blending of storytelling and fashion. And we've always seen the world of fashion and film, that intersection. And it's kind of fun to see this new approach. So, while we're talking about this luxury space, we're seeing a major transition. For a long time, there was, minimalism and quiet luxury was all the thing. And now we're getting a big shift into more loud luxury. All kinds of new textures and fabrications are hitting the runway and consumers.
Well, maybe if you're spending the money, you want other people to know, I guess. I don't know.
This
is a cycle that continues throughout fashion history. There are moments that, you know, you take a little bit of a break, you have a palette cleansing, you have this whole minimalist thing come in, and then you get bam, color
Yes.
pattern. And then now it's texture is a big conversation. You know, fashion is kind of probably officially divorced itself from fur at this
Right.
point. And in that divorce, their conversation is now, how do we replace fur textures with more bio-friendly textures,
Sustainable, animal friendly.
sustainable? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's all these interesting things coming to the table, with texture as the new status symbol.
Pony hair, which
Yeah.
I've been seeing a ton of that lately.
Is it pink pony hair?
There's a lot of pink pony hair.
Funny how that is. Yeah.
There's pony hair, feathers, shearling. You know, these are all methods that don't hurt the animal, which is great.
Yeah.
But definitely showcase this echo of these beautiful materials. And we're seeing the demand not just grow on the runway, but it is definitely flowing out to commercial retail.
It really is. And I think, you know, there's still this underlying tension and conversation balancing all of these looks, ethics with aesthetics, right? And so we'll see how this rolls out, but it's going to be a fun movement. We're going to see a lot of nice color and texture.
Boldness.
And boldness.
Yes, fearlessness. Yes. Over the last year, we've talked a lot about the big transitions in luxury, you know, this constant shift in leadership and, you know, companies that are struggling and so forth. And, you know, this has now led to a reset in this space. LVMH, Kering, Richemont are all now really thinking about what their brand portfolios look like. They're moving away from the more brands equals more growth era, and some changes are on the cusp.
They are. I mean, they're really even talking about selling off some of the lesser performing. I think certainly stockholders are trying to get their hands around it, putting some pressure on these groups to focus on the more profitable brands. You know, I think, you know, we've talked about this over time, that these luxury brands are in some ways more challenged than ever. You know, better is making its inroads and doing really well. People want quality. They want to buy product that lasts longer, that helps the environment. But somehow at the luxury level, there's some disconnects with the current generational groups, and they're trying to discover, you know, how to recapture those. And I think it's now trickling down. It's becoming a bigger and bigger issue. These groups that have had years of positive growth and lots of profits are now having to rethink their strategy. And we'll see what that means for a lot of the brands within their portfolios. You know, their shareholders are demanding clear strategies. Interestingly enough, better margins. You know, in an up market kind of environment, you think, oh my God, margins are great. But to support luxury, there's a lot of marketing efforts and a lot of things that go along with that. And then disciplined growth. I think, you know, this shift, building scarcity back into the supply chain makes a little bit of sense. If, you know, and that's that balance. You still want to achieve the revenue, but if you want to grow profitability and you want to grow MSRPs in a world where costs are growing, you start to develop a strategy of scarcity where, hey, if you really want it, it's only available for a certain period of time. There's limited quantities. You build that demand. And I think some of their market will really cater to that.
Yeah, a brand that has done scarcity really well from the beginning of the brand, Schiaparelli.
Oh yeah.
This is a brand I really come to admire, and I hope that someday I may be blessed with some of these amazing pieces. But there is now an exhibition showcasing a kind of a retrospective of this incredible visionary's work. It's in London at the Victoria and Albert Museum, and with over 400 pieces on display,
including her iconic skeleton dress and the lobster dress. And I mean, you feel like you're walking through fashion's version of Salvador Dali and Jean Cocteau. And it's always exciting to see those pieces. They're super fun and whimsical and creative. And it's great that it's being celebrated now, for sure.
Yeah, this is a designer that was really more than a designer. You know, this was a pioneering artist who shaped a different approach to fashion, and it really captured culture and I don't know, I think some whimsy too.
Yeah, we always talk about designers and fashion, or fashion designers. They don't paint with paintbrushes. Most of the time they paint with fabric and they paint with materials and people wear them, but they're no less artists than those that paint with brushes. And
Yes.
boy, no better person to focus at.
Absolutely. That is an exhibition to see. It runs through November. So if you happen to be in London, take some photos, send them, share them. We would
Yeah,
love to.
because
we'd
with
love to
airline
see it.
prices, holy smoke, someone else needs to go. It's now like what, $30,000 to fly to London or
Yes,
something.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us this week. If you need help navigating this complex world, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to provide support in any manner of way. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to stay apprised of upcoming conversations.